Hi YouTube. Um, this is a human being on Earth making a video, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what's been happening to me lately in my life. Because my dad passed away in the spring this year, it's made me think a lot more about this, how value is put upon my own existence. And just having to know that I have to face one day getting older and getting old and just in my body falling apart and not being able to handle living, taking care of my own self. I mean, having had somebody else come and take care of me like what my father went through recently, and then he passed away. And like one of the things was that, okay, he saved his money, and my mom and dad paid off their house because he worked, for 30 years and for the same company, and just over time was able to build up enough equity in his home to where he could sell it and then move and then buy a home and have it and own it outright, him and my mom, which makes me a little anxious these days because it was my plans to do that in a way. I want, to know that my mortgage payments are being made and I'm paying off what I owe to the bank on my house, and that someday the value that I put into the house because of my hard work, and savings I'll be able to use that when I'm old and elderly, and the money that I have as equity will help take care of my wife and myself when we're old and elderly. It's just after the housing market crashed here, I live in the United States, and this house, when I bought it, now it's worth, according to the websites, out there, I go and I look and I do, comps and all that, and they show my house is worth like almost a little more than half of what I paid for it. And I'm only in, 3 years into a 15-year mortgage, so I have, a considerable amount more to pay down even before there's a break-even point on the value. And that, and I, here I am, I'm almost, 51 years old, so I know I don't have much longer before I'll have to leave my job. I won't be able to, keep up with the work, and always new technology, and having to keep relearning everything, just having to go back and go get retrained and go back to school and keep up and compete against younger people coming into the workplace. And then I see, wow, it's like when I was younger, even like 10 years ago, at least I knew if I had to move, that I could have some money that I could get and then use that money to move and then reestablish myself and get more, go back to school and retrain myself with the equity that I had, which I did when I sold my first house. And now this house is like, I don't have that option anymore in my future. That door's been closed because of the bubble, the housing bubble. And I'm wondering, I'm looking out there and I'm wondering, aren't there a lot of other people like in the same position as me? I mean, aren't they angry about that? Don't they have underwater mortgages? What if they have to relocate? What if they have to leave their job, or they quit, or they get fired, or they get laid off? Then they can't, a lot of people just can't live in the same place. They have to move. They have to move because that's their career, their job, their training is in some field that is like, it's really hard to get into. You have to really have this huge geographic area if you're gonna migrate from one kind of employment to another kind of employment. You just can't quit and then go down the road and get another job locally. It's been that way for me, at least in my past. I've always had to move when I got another job because there wasn't another employment that I was qualified for that was close by. So there was a long commute, and then I had to reestablish myself and move and live. And it wouldn't be such a burden if I didn't have so many pets. You know, I have 8 cats and a dog. And I'm a weak person because I'm attached to these animals. You know, they're like children to me. So it'd be like really difficult for me to like pull up stakes and move into an apartment. The savings I do have is like in a 401k plan, and that's I've lost, you know, that's gone down in value because of the crash. It was money I was hoping I was saving for my retirement, and then I'm looking at Social Security, and what's Social Security going to be like? I'm at the tail end of the baby boomers, and there may not be any there for me. You know, I'm sorry I'm laying this on you. It's kind of like, well, why are you complaining? It looks like you got a place to live at least, you know, and that, you know, I mean, yeah, I have a place to live, and you know, I've been working all my life. I mean, my parents, I didn't get any handout from my parents. I didn't get, you know, inheritance, or I'm not a trust fund kid. I was never, you know, my parents were middle class working parents, and I had, you know, 2 other brothers and 3 sisters. So my parents, they had a lot of things to juggle, and everything I had to earn myself. I started working when I was 15 years old as a newspaper delivery person. I've been working ever since. You know, when I was 18, I got a full-time job, and I worked in a warehouse, and I worked as a stock clerk, and I worked as a, you know, a technician. I worked as a, you know, a tech artist, you know, and all that. I've been working as a drafter, and then I worked as, you know, now I'm making books all the time for a company, and it's like I've had to go back and retrain. I go back to school and I retrain every time there's, you know, the technology changes. You have to constantly be on top of it. I'm like, you know, there's a lot of younger people coming up, and now it's because of this other thing, how many students there are, or how many graduates there are that are out there that need work. It'd be like a scary thing if I lost my job. You know, I wouldn't have much, you know, even though I have some savings, it wouldn't last me very long. So it's kind of spooky. It's kind of a scary thing. And you know, and I do make, you know, a little bit here and there from my other channel, you know, and I use that, and I do donate some of it. You know, I support Wikipedia, and I have other users on YouTube that have, you know, a PayPal button, and I watch their videos. I'll click on their PayPal button and give them a couple bucks. It's just what I feel like, you know, it encourages other people. I don't give them a lot. I give them, you know, couple dollars. But if everybody did that, there would be kind of, you know, I think people would be more of an incentive. So if you make videos, it's a good idea to have like another little web page on the side with a you know, PayPal button on it. So you might be surprised how many people will give you a couple bucks now and then to at least give you some encouragement. You know, maybe you could get a better quality of camera, or you could have more time to spend doing videos, or be more encouraged personally to do videos. And it's good. It's good that people are communicating with each other. You know, especially stuff you never hear about on mainstream media. You'd never hear about on television. I mean, television now, broadcast TV, it makes me sick. It makes me ill because it's so lacking. It's so vacant. You know, you've seen one of my other videos out, I'm sure, about that, where I flip the channels and I'm ranting about what's on TV. I grew up in the 70s, you know, in late 60s as a kid. I watched a lot of TV, and the TV was nothing like, the TV, they put a lot of time and money and effort and talent and creativity and into the shows. It wasn't just like bullshit, you know, reality shows that are just like, you know, whatever, shallow, not real a lot of thought to it. So I just thought I'd let you know what's new and all that. So anyhow, enjoy your day. Good night.